All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Inside Texas with Mitch and Jeff. Now, I had put a post out just a couple of seconds ago. Hi, Mitch. How you doing? I'm sorry. You sitting over there.
Good.
Very quiet. I wanted to bring this up because the weather situation. Matagorda County, Jackson County, Wharton County, Brazoria County, and Calhoun is out of it. So just to let you know that we are in a tornado watch until 1 a.m. this morning. We got some strong storms that are moving out of the Victoria area, moving east. Some of them are breaking off, doing a little southeast. Bay City, Blessing, Markham, Midfield, those areas up there, Danavang. Keep an eye out. I know the storm is like right on your heels right there.
It's raining just south of Ganado. I was looking at the property, and it's getting significant rain right now.
Yeah. So we just want to let everybody know, keep your heads up throughout the night because the line of storms is going to slow down. They're going to slow and creep off the coast. And in fact, it's not going to clear out of here, according to the Weather Service and on the TV, until about 6 o'clock in the morning. Between 4 and 6 o'clock until everything moves offshore. So we could get some of that training rain that we got, like that. I hope not like that 16 inches of rain we got here in Matagorda, 14 or whatever the heck it was. But this is a strong system that moved through it, brought tornadoes into Houston and Katy area today. It's a part of that system.
Quite a bit of damage. Seeing houses, quite a bit. Quite a bit of damage. I'm hearing the thunder now.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe I can bring it up. Let me see if I can bring up I'll see if I can bring up the radar here real quick.
You must be getting close. I'm hearing it boom, boom.
Yep. You're getting a little boom, boom up there. So let's see here. Let me do this. Yeah. Tornado watch and effect special weather statement. This just came out too. Right at 7 o'clock. A strong thunderstorm will impact southern Wharton, eastern central Jackson, southeastern Fort Bend, west central Brazoria, and northwestern Matagorda counties through 7:45 p.m. Doppler radar was tracking a strong thunderstorm near Ganado, or 11 miles east of Edna, moving northeast at 25 miles an hour. Gusty, wind gusts up to 40 miles an hour, half-inch hail. Radar indicated that already. Gusty winds could knock down trees, limbs, all this other stuff. So locations impact include Bay City, El Campo, Wharton, Edna, Sweeney, Needville, Ganado, LaWard, Pierce, Lolita, Markham, Van Vleck, Bowling, southeastern Wild Peach Village, Louise, Midfield, Lake Texana Dam, and Danavang. So we're going to keep an eye out on this storm for you. We'll keep you all up to date. Andy Kirkland is on it as well, and we'll know that. Now, let me do this if I can, real quick. I will bring this up here. Okay. And yeah. All right. Now let's see if I can do this. I know I can because I've done it before. Let's see. There we go. There we go. Okay. There we go. You can see it a little bit there. You can see the radar. It's pretty small, but anyway. Yeah. It's right there where you can see it. So that big area right there, that big red area on the southern part, the lower left-hand corner right there, that's the area of concern right now. So we're keeping an eye on it. It seemed to calm down a little bit. It had a lot of white in it earlier. So, but that's the live radar right now. So
yeah,
it will boom. It'll boom for a while.
We need it. I mean, we need a little of it. We don't need damage, but we certainly need certainly need some moisture to fall. We did have a little bit Saturday. You and I talked about that.
Yep, sure.
Maybe 15 minutes here in Bay City.
Yeah.
Pretty heavy. Probably very negligible as far as quarter of an inch, maybe.
Right. Yeah. And down here, when that big line came through on Saturday morning, it missed us here on the land. Just amazing. It is amazing. And then the second line that came through gave us a little bit of rain. But man, when I was driving home from Galveston, because I had to do the football game on Friday night down there in Corpus Christi,
Corpus, yeah.
just north of Corpus Christi, and drive all the way to Galveston that night. And I saw some thunder and lightning north, but nothing ever came through. But I got to Galveston in the morning, picked up Lydia and my daughter, and then drove home. And we hit the rain then and around Lake Jackson area. And it was pouring down pretty good. So.
Yep.
But anyway,
Saturday morning was interesting.
It was. So we're going to keep an eye on the weather for everybody. Yeah.
Then the sun came out and it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was nice then. So, and then we're expecting cooler weather right around Thanksgiving time too, just to let you all know.
Yeah, that's just 2 days, right?
Yeah, not far away till we stuff our gut with turkey.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep, I have a turkey outside with a shotgun. I don't know what it means. He's chasing around everybody outside. Anyway, that's what's cooking. That's what's going on right now.
Pay attention. Be weather aware.
Be weather aware. Just go to the page at Gulf Coast One Radio Facebook page. Andy Kirkland's keeping everybody up to date there. Also, you can go on the webpage right here. You can scroll down and go to the National Weather Service radar and all that other stuff. All the information is there for everybody, just to let you know. All right, we got some other topics to talk about tonight. So where's it at? I had it just here. It's down here. All right, here we go. EMS contract and county services for Matagorda County. I was actually there when they approved this. So go ahead, let's talk about this a little bit.
Well, I'm hearing a lot of people bitching. Now, I will tell you that they did choose the exact same company. And I think maybe there was some miscommunications early on, and the disappointment, I would call it, was aimed at Allegiance, the company. But from everything I can tell, and I'm sure individuals all have a different spin on it, but what I've always heard is that the problem was having an ambulance available or having enough ambulances available.
Correct.
The other night, I understood we had no ambulance, and what was it, 28 minutes or something was anticipated for one of the calls. And I'm sure everybody's got their own opinion, and if you want to tell me, great, I'll listen, but I don't. Is not the is in what I've heard is not that Allegiance has bad technicians, but what I've always heard is that there's probably a bad situation out there. Trust me, I get it. But part of the problem, what I kept hearing, was not enough ambulances. I do know that the nearest contract, the nearest bid, that Allegiance, with 5 ambulances, 4 of them on duty for 9/11 at all times, 1 ambulance that can be used for non-emergency transport, and then a life flight helicopter being stationed in Bay City with a turnaround time of 10 minutes for $1 million, when the closest bid to that was $3 million. Now, I will tell you that a couple of things that I think are interesting. One is, and I'm sure somebody's got a complaint about the service that Allegiance gives. I'm sure there are people that will have a complaint about everything. But having a 2-year contract, $1 million a year for 2-year contract, and then go through what we probably should have been doing, and that is a study on what is the appropriate number of ambulances, what is the appropriate service look like for a community our size. So I have noticed a lot of the keyboard warriors want to say, well, why did the county go out and contract with the very same company they were disappointed in? And my answer is the same. I never saw where we were disappointed. I mean, there was some complaints about 911, where they were being dispatched to, being a wrong location. I don't know if you can blame that on the technician or the driver or 911 dispatchers or the customer not giving explicit instructions. I don't know, but I will tell you, for your tax dollars, my tax dollars, your tax rate, my tax rate, this did appear to be the best choice, because I don't know if you wanted to triple your taxes to get just to get a different company where you weren't going to be assured of better customer service. So it'll be interesting to see the next 2 years. We'll go through hopefully a significant study that will tell us what does the next 5 years look like.
Can I tell you something, Mitch?
Please.
Okay. Based on research in that, which I have researched this, based on research, 1 to 3 ambulances for every 40,000 people.
Okay.
That's
and what is that? Is that kind of like the industry average?
Industry average is 1 to 3, 1 to 3 for every 40,000 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we had was probably industry average, and now we'll be a little better than average. Is that what I'm reading now?
Yeah, sort of. The difference is depending on industry. It depends on industry within the county. Dangerous, it's like a 1, 2, and a 3. Okay, so STP is based on a 3. That's the highest, the highest injury, report, whatever. Then you got Lyondell and all the other ones. That's a 2. And then you got the smaller places like the little warehouses and stuff that people do things at, that's considered a 1. So you have a 1, 2, and 3 rating. And based on that, per those places there, it's one for every 2. You're supposed to have 1 ambulance for every 2 based on the number. And I can show you that. It's a printout. It's a thing that's on there. But based on right now, 5 ambulances, 1 being based in Palacios, one main one being based in Palacios. I know the volunteer fire departments used to have some as well, some ambulances, but I don't think any of them have them anymore.
I think the cost, I know.
Yeah,
that was one of the reasons I understood Sargent was working so hard toward an emergency services district.
Yeah,
the whole idea was to have an ambulance.
An ambulance is I guess they're running anywhere between $250,000 to $500,000 a piece, loaded with everything that you need. It's oxygen.
Well, that's to purchase and what is it to run it? What is it to operate?
Yeah, it depends on which one you got and what's on it. What you got on it, and then the upkeep on them and stuff like that. The lifespan, it's just like a fire.
And insurance, right? Well, I can't imagine what insurance costs.
Yeah, insurance is crazy, but the average lifespan on most of the stuff is 5 to 7 years on any of these. Even a fire truck.
You buy it, you better start saving up for its replacement.
Yeah, 5 to 7 years, and that's another national study. So 5 to 7 years, fire departments and fire trucks and stuff like that, on an average, are only supposed to last, again, 5 to 7 years be out there, because after a while, Don't tell Vic.
Tell Vic that.
Nah, he knows it already.
He's got some from the 80s, right?
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah.
Well, the only thing that I question, and I haven't, but I'll say it on the show. Mm-hmm. I'm not real sure, as far as I can tell, and I haven't done serious homework. And my friends at the City of Bay City and the City of Palacios hopefully correct me if I'm wrong. But what I don't quite understand is there's no contribution toward the ambulance contract from either one of the municipalities. Even though
you're talking about
the City of Bay City and the City of Palacios benefits from the county having a contract.
Well, you think they should, because they're the most populated area, both of them.
So that's a great question. Is I don't know. Maybe they've never been asked to contribute.
Yeah.
I know I haven't seen it in a budget where they contribute. Certainly, the city of Bay City contributes to the fire department, the volunteer fire department, the Bay City Volunteer Fire Department.
Yes.
I know that the city of Palacios donates to the Palacios Volunteer Fire Department. So
Right.
I don't know if there's anything in that, but I think, of course, I don't want my city taxes going up either, but I do think that it's probably a good idea for the county representatives and the city representatives to get together and certainly work out some kind of cost sharing obligation, or whether that means you keep
the ESD. If you did an ESD, that can include emergency services like that.
Right. No, I think that's the reason that I was watching what the community of Sargent was doing,
right?
Because the whole idea, besides helping their fire department, the whole idea, the selling point, I should say, because that's going to have to be an election.
Yep.
First, they have to, you know this, Jeff, but you have to solicit the required numbers of voter signatures and then registered voters, and then you have to have an election where the majority of the residents have to vote in favor of taxing themselves.
That's right.
For this emergency services district.
And you're looking from anywhere to 8 to 10 cents.
Yeah, everything I read was everything I was reading. It was primarily for it to house an ambulance there. And what the process is for them to get the signatures presented to Matagorda County Commissioner's Court, and then the court call for an election. Right. It could be called in probably would either be a May election in conjunction with Van Vleck ISD, or that's an election in May, or a November uniform election time. Right. So but I haven't heard anything lately coming out of those efforts. So interesting to see.
Yes. Very, very
interesting. But you can complain. I about Allegiance. You can complain about a $1 million contract, but I promise you, everybody was looking at a $3 million solution, negotiated it down to a $1 million solution, and so there we are. So you can complain, but do your homework before you complain.
That's right. Which I've been doing a lot of lately.
And I've heard the complaints too about Allegiance, but I've never heard of it being because a technician didn't have a skill set. I've always heard that it was just an ambulance wasn't available. We didn't have enough ambulances in the county to handle the.
Well, when you're doing transports, and we live so far away from Houston or Sugar Land or wherever you go,
right?
You're talking about one ambulance now. Now you're down to 4.
Yeah.
And then and if you're doing 2 transfers or 2 whatever trains, then you're down to 3, and all of them got to run particularly well.
Yeah.
And then you're talking about it being away for at least 3-4 hours.
Oh, maybe. Easy. Yeah.
Easy. So
I know Palacios was very concerned with the ability to move a patient from their little clinic.
Right.
They call it a hospital, a Palacios Hospital. And either to El Campo or to Bay City.
Right. Yeah.
I think there for a while they had some kind of partnership agreement with El Campo, and so they were sending a lot of. I'll tell you the sad thing, and it's all business, but there were rumors, and again, I don't have but it'd be a shame that if they had insurance, they sent them to El Campo, and if they didn't have insurance, they would transport them to Bay City. I did watch that quite a bit, and the whole idea was because Bay City, the Matagorda County Hospital District, is more of a taxing entity.
Yeah.
And they have different rules, a different setup for the El Campo Hospital. That's how it was explained to me by the healthcare individuals.
Oh, okay.
But it's an interesting deal. But let's give it a shot. If somebody's got an individual, if you've got a systemic problem with the training that Allegiance does, let's address that. But if your real complaint was just the number of the lack of ambulances to adequately cover a huge county, then because if you're in Sargent, you've got to call in Palacios.
Right.
That's tough. I mean,
here's the other thing, and you brought this up before. One of the biggest major things that we worry about in this county is chemicals that move through the county on a daily basis, not only by rail car, but by tractor trailer and things like that.
Yeah.
And knock on wood, bang, bang, we've been lucky with the situations and with our firefighters and things like that, maybe able to control, especially, on Highway 35 and Highway 60. So, that's something else you got to consider, we
had that rail car. Thank goodness it was isolated in a part of the county that is not has no residences. And so that was a half-mile blast radius that they were evacuating. And so the potential is certainly there. If that rail car had gotten on a track and driving through a populated area, that could have been a significant problem. And you're right. I remember Bill Corman. He retired from Celanese, and he was telling me that you don't even want to know what's in some of these tank cars driving right by the courthouse.
Yeah, no.
In downtown Bay City, Texas.
Ooh-wee. Yeah. Nope.
And I told you we did that tabletop one time, one of the shortest tabletops. We simulated a leak at a rail car just south of the courthouse on Avenue K there at the rail. And it started developing, and then the police, set up a perimeter, and they said, okay, the volunteer fire department was going to go in and start evacuating people. And they said, I've said, no, we're not. And they said, well, why not? And they said, well, we don't have the equipment. We don't have the correct equipment to go in. We don't have the breathing apparatuses that we need. We all kind of looked at each other, and that was the end of the tabletop. You can't go in. The cops can't go in. Nobody can go in. It's a deadly situation. Oh, well, those people are dying. It was a difficult tabletop to sit through. I know since then our Bay City Volunteer Fire Department has some of the equipment. I don't know if they have all the equipment they need.
Yeah. Well, I know, and a lot of people don't know this, that like Lyondell Basel has its own fire department there.
Sure. Tenaris does.
Tenaris, yeah. STP has a fire watch and safety things that go through all the time, but every day. So there is a lot of that help wise, but in big situations, man, it gets tough. And it gets tough. They
do have interlocal agreements with each other, so you just call them and they all respond. I know. What was it? One time, I know the Bay City Volunteer Fire Department needed some foam, and they ended up getting it from Lyondell Basel.
That is correct. Yep.
Or maybe it was Matagorda. I can't remember, but
no, Lyondell.
They called out Lyondell. They called out, and then Lyondell shared some of the foam with them.
Yeah, they needed it on that accident up there on Highway 35, and right there where you turn to go into Markham.
Oh, that right. I forget what chemical that was, but it was interacting with the water in the ditch.
Yeah, and they had to use the foam.
Yeah. I remember that now.
And now I know Midfield has it because they got the 350-gallon tubs of it in the back stacked up already. So they had it donated from other companies. So it's there. All right. So we'll talk more about that recently. Okay, so The Bay City Police Department posted on Facebook that a man was shot on November 4th, 2025. That's what happened right down the street from the shop. Talk about the public safety in Bay City as a part of the trend or an outlier. What are people concerns, and what is the police department doing?
Well, and you know that those are all questions that I have. I mean, I know the leadership at the city. I know the leadership at the police department. I know that in a lot of instances they already know who. I know there was one particular murder,
Mm-hmm.
and then the police chief knew who did it. They knew who did it, but they could get nobody to come forward and identify him, a witness. They needed a witness that would testify that, yes, this person shot this other person. And without that, couldn't make a case. Even it was frustrating to the police. A lot of times our police departments know who the actors are and what happened and what's going on. But until they have a witness step forward, and that particular case, I said, well, why won't they come forward? And they said, well, you know, it's vigilante style. They're going to go take care of it themselves. And sure enough, a couple of months later, there was another murder. So
yeah,
I don't think we have a problem like they do in Austin or Houston. But for any of us to think that we're not affected by crime in Bay City, I know our crime rate is extremely low compared to the other communities. I don't know how it stacks up to per 100 residents and something along those lines. But I do appreciate our Bay City Police, our Sheriff's Department, all of our law enforcement, whether it's the JPs, whether it's the constables. I believe, and I know 95 or more percent of them, and I know that they're dedicated. They give their time and their efforts, and they care about what's going on. I know crime prevention is a topic we should all be talking about, educating ourselves, getting ourselves trained up and observant enough. I know we don't necessarily have a neighborhood watch here in my neighborhood, but I guarantee you we're all watching out for each other.
Okay, can I let me get to I'll give you this information, which I already had as well already. This data is from Next Door. It's a crime rate, national crime rate comparison, I guess. 50.76 per 1,000 people in Bay City connected with the crime. It's a little higher than the national average of 33.37 per 1,000 people.
Yeah, so there you go.
Says it's a little higher than the national average. Both violent and property crime rates in Bay City are above the national averages. The overall crime rate is 50.76 per 1,000 in Bay City versus the national average of 33.37, according to Next Door.
Well, there you go. I mean, and I think it's up to us as citizens. I certainly want law enforcement to have the tools necessary to keep us safe, but at the same time, I also want us citizens, if you see something, say something.
Yeah.
You know, there's been several times where I've had the ability to see something strange and to make a phone call, primarily at the Civic Center where I work. You know, there's just a lot of folks up and down 35 that sometimes are look sketchy. I'll just say it. That certainly hyped up and agitated and those kinds of things. And whenever I've called, the response has been tremendous. I know one time I called one of the leaders in the PD because I noticed that my neighbor's front door was wide open and very unusual. And because she was out of town, and I called and they said, well, do you want me to send an officer? I said, no. I said, I'm going to go check it out. And I said, I feel comfortable, you know, checking it out. And They said, well, let us know. We don't mind a bit in the world. And I swept the house and it was fine, but they were more than willing and able and would have responded immediately for us. So
one of the things,
I think it's up to us, Jeff.
Yeah, it is. A lot of it is up to us. You know, when you only have, it varies right now. I guess the amount of police, the sheriff's department on, and they have a big area to cover. You know, if you have 6 guys on covering the county,
right?
You know, that's a big area to cover. Plus, you got other towns and incorporated towns that they're going to be at. You know, so a lot of people we call it trickle in the police departments. We call it trickled highways, and trickled highway would be 59. So let's take Highway 59 for example. Okay,
right.
That's a trickle highway. What it means trickling is a lot of crime trickles off of Highway 59. And most likely it's drug related, more drug related crimes than anything. Highway 59 in Texas is one of the highest drug trafficking highways in the United States. You can look that up. That's a fact check. And I looked it up 100 times, but it does trickle down. Wharton County works very hard with Matagorda County with that. I know the folks over in Jackson County work very hard as well with the folks in Matagorda.
Yeah, no, I guarantee you they're talking to each other.
They do.
Lot.
The state police have a lot to do with taking care of that area, and then notifying what to look for, what to watch out for to sheriffs and things like that. So I know they're cracking down a lot more than what they used to because of all this drug stuff going on right now. But you got to remember that the Highway 35 is the most southern highway we have here in Texas,
right?
You know, so a lot of them come up, a lot of drug trafficking comes up from the south and from the north. So, you know, you're talking about the Houston area, 45, you know, and then coming through across 35, and then the same goes with 59.
Well, don't you think and when the pressure gets on I-10 and they move to 59 and then the more officers, more resources go to fight drugs on 59, they just move down to 35.
Yes.
I believe that.
Yeah, that's true. So they're called trickle down highways. We had them up north and we had I-95. Excuse me, just to give you an idea. We had I-95 Interstate 476, which came from Philadelphia. We had a lot of folks. Allentown was where I grew up, was also a hub. It was a major, and you can look it up. They actually built an FBI building there in Allentown now, where I grew up, because it became a hub for weapons. It was a huge weapons hub. There was a lot of abandoned buildings in Allentown that they used. A lot of the guys from New York and stuff would come down and use for storage facilities to distribute. That would go to, now think about it, Allentown is in between New York, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, you know, all these big towns around the area. So it was a major trafficking issue. They got the problem taken care of. They worked with the landlords and the building owners there to make sure they were securely closed and things like that, because a lot of these buildings were just open, you know, and they could just anybody and anyone could go in there and, you know, drugs and everything. So yeah, it's trickle down highways is
well, that's why I think it's incumbent on us as the citizens to start, you know, paying attention, particularly in our neighborhoods, particularly in our community.
Yeah. And Andy just said 59 is also a huge human trafficking problem. It is.
I think that's tied together, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think those two are clearly tied together.
Yeah. Now I would like to touch on this for just a second. You know, with the crime and everything going on, we talked a little bit about this, and I don't want to talk long about it because eventually I will. But the help with mental people and mental issues and things, we have more and more of it. We know we do, but we have less help for it. So
I think
Well,
it's growing.
yeah,
I think
well,
the healthcare problem is
yeah,
getting worse.
yeah. The mental health issue is, and you and I have talked about this in length many a times.
Mm.
We're not getting the right help we need from the people who we need it from in order for it to. It's not a money maker for the government.
Right.
It's not a money maker for the government. Go ahead and smoke the cigarettes because we make tax off it. But when we got, or go drink as much as you want. We get tax off of that. But when it comes to somebody with
Yeah.
right, when we get somebody with mental health, they ain't got insurance. We ain't getting no money, so we just let it go. And
It's a shame. I mean, it's something that we've got to, and I think, I think there's an element of the drugs as well.
Yeah.
But it's just like the young man that unfortunately went on the crime spree in Blessing, and then West Matagorda, and then eventually all the way into Brazoria County before he was captured.
Right.
I believe that when you look at the individual, you can clearly see, and I hate to judge somebody by the cover.
No, you're right. Yeah, I know what you're going to say, and I know that kid very, very well. Know him very, very well.
You start tattooing all over your face.
Yeah. Well, here's an issue.
There's a mental health issue there.
That was my son's best friend.
Yeah.
Okay. And went to school to Tidehaven, and he was a good kid. He really was a good kid. He played some football. He was good in football. He got a concussion and then sort of seemed not to act right after that. He had a little problems. He quit football. He didn't want to act. This is the story that I get. Okay.
Yeah.
I know him. I've talked to him many, many times.
Yeah.
Just recently, his Facebook posts and stuff, he was reaching out for help. He was looking for help. He says, man, I feel like this, and I could really use someone to talk to, and this and that. No one stepped up to the plate and did. My son did call him and talk to him.
But a lot of times, Jeff, we as citizens, we don't know. I mean, I can talk to you all day long, but I'm not trained.
Neither am I.
Especially if you need medications.
Right.
Neither am I. You need a professional.
Yeah. Just this past week, I reached out to I say 3 or 4, but 3 for sure. The 4th one is still pending, waiting for the call back. Says that, yes, we do have a huge mental issue and want to put input on how to fix it without spending taxpayer money in order to do it. So, I'll get more on that later, but it is an issue. It's a problem.
It's a medical issue.
It is.
And the world evolves around money.
Yes, it does.
Asking what can we do to help, but we don't want it to cost us anything. That's like me saying I want to be able to go, on a 10-day on an Alaskan cruise, but I don't want to pay for it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to have to pay for it. Now, I say we're paying for it with officers' time.
Yes.
With a vehicle use, fuel. When the closest mental health facility, if you can get a bed, is 3.5 hours away.
It's an issue.
If there's an opening,
right.
And then I don't know that we seriously have a handle on juvenile mental health issues.
No, we don't. Not even.
I mean, those individuals I'm talking about, you've already gone through the court system. You've been mandated by the courts to go into a mental institution. I don't know that any of those are going voluntarily. They're being court ordered in, but after Harvey, that we tried to get a pilot program where you had a professional in every campus, at least every ISD.
Right.
But I wanted to go every campus, not a counselor, not a school counselor. They're great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I think they're more an academic counselor than a mental health counselor.
Yes.
Now, they've probably picked up some tools of the trade. But I feel like, now, what would that cost versus what would it benefit later on down the road? But if you could identify a lot of these problems early and get treatment early before they become adults, before they become addicted to drugs or alcohol or those, I just feel like that would be a compassionate use of our time, our money, and our efforts. What do you say?
No, I agree. It's, people got to pick up with the times a little bit, man. They're like, well, back in my day, wait over here. Back in my day, we didn't have those problems. Well, we do today. Today.
Yeah.
Well, that's the parents' problem. That's the parent. Okay. What if the parents turn their blind eye to it? What if they just keep on putting a Band-Aid over a Band-Aid over a Band-Aid over a Band-Aid? They're going to fall off. They're all going to fall off.
Right.
And then eventually that volcano that you're trying to raise is going to erupt, and I've, excuse me, man, my throat today. I have experienced a lot of that. I mean, you can say Jeff BS, whatever, but I've experienced it firsthand. When I was younger, I experienced it firsthand. I needed someone to talk to. I wanted someone to go, to be able to go to. I went to my school counselor, and all he kept on saying was, well, you need to do what your parents say. I'm like, oh, that's the problem. I got a problem with that. Well, you ain't doing what they say. Yes, I'm doing what they're saying, but it's not correct. I know it's not, because I see how Johnny's getting handled over there and he's making it, and his parents ain't going ballistically nuts, but my parents over here going ballistically nuts, and I do less than Johnny does. And Johnny over there, he's doing drugs and everything else. I'm not doing drugs and have a job, but yet I get treated the way that I do. So it's very confusing to say, well, am I doing that right thing, or should I be doing what Johnny's doing? And Johnny is the one on the drugs and everything, and he's all happy, and his mom and dad got money, and he's got tons of money, and he doesn't have a job, but he's got a brand new truck and everything. So I guess maybe I can live that way. But the kid that's over here, that's got 3 or 2 part-time jobs and trying to make money and not doing drugs and not drinking, and then being bullied around because they're not a part of that association with those kind of kids, they turn in and say, well, this isn't the life that I wanted to live, or a life I want to live. I guess I don't deserve to be here. That's exactly how you feel.
Well, and parents too, a lot of times they don't know where to turn.
They don't.
They turn to the medical community, and the medical community is not geared for the mental health aspect of it. And then it's back to getting, I guess, having enough insurance. Of course, a lot of times, and it's kind of a joke, but it's not funny. And that is a sad situation. And that is, once your insurance runs out, all of a sudden you're cured, you're well.
Yeah.
Many times where it's just to get it's just to chase that insurance dollars a lot of times.
Do you know that since 1990, that kids have been going to psychiatrists 116% more now than then? 116%. I thought 100 would be the highest, but it's 116% more now. So if you can't see that,
but that's with insurance, I bet, or rich parents that can pay out of pocket.
Some of them. I mean,
and I don't know. I mean, maybe they're part of the answer. I think part of the answer, in my opinion, is more access. Now, does that have to cost a bunch of money? I don't think so.
No,
but more access to professional help. Now,
when you talk to me, when you and I have a conversation, do we charge each other for our conversation?
We don't.
Exactly. There's people out there that are willing to do this to help, but get pushed aside. And
we found that after Harvey, a lot of the kids having to be evacuated. There was some real mental anguish in the communities, because a lot of those people didn't have enough money to evacuate. We forced them out. We forced them into motel hotels. I know I was sitting on the at the emergency operations center, I'm getting phone calls going, "Hey, I'm being evicted from the hotel, and because I'm out of money and I have nowhere to go. Can I come home?" Well, no, not yet. We're still expecting 40 inches of rain and flooding. And then where do I go? Well, I didn't have an answer. And it's kind of like that with mental health.
Well, I think
they need help. They need to go somewhere. They need to talk to somebody, but where do they go?
Exactly. Yeah. And there's people that, like I said, there's people that I've spoken to that are willing to help do it. Work with whoever they need to work with and train for it or whatever, and do it for free, because it's at a point now where if you got a 16-year-old kid, I mean, probably doesn't have health coverage or whatever, and doesn't want to go to mom and dad and say, yeah, I need to talk to somebody, and wants to go on their own to talk to somebody,
right?
They're not going to have millions of dollars to pay to get it.
No, clearly. No.
All good things shouldn't cost money. All good things shouldn't cost money.
Yeah.
Mental health and mental issues, certain people, I've sat down and talked with people who had issues, including Mr. Green there, that got in trouble this past week, and
sure,
know where he lives, know what he had, know what he did, and there's some kids that just all of a sudden it clicks in their head, and it's a sad thing, because he really was a good kid. He was a great kid. He just took a big bad turn, and it's a shame. Right. You look at somebody like that, like, God, dog, I know that kid. That kid ate with us. That kid, we did things together, and then all of a sudden, and then I look at my son and I say, how do you feel about it? And he said, Dad, I don't feel good about it. I just, I feel terrible about it, that I couldn't do more about it, or somebody couldn't have done more about it. Because what's an 18-year-old kid going to say to another 18-year-old kid?
Well, what would I say? I'm not trained.
Right, exactly. So
I mean, I can, lather on about crap, but I don't.
It's very easy for us to grab those. It's very easy to grab people and throw them in jail for something they did wrong. But why can't we fix what they did?
That was the other part I was going to bring up about when you're talking about the cost. What are the cost of us keeping our mentally ill individuals in the jail? I won't name names, but I had one kid came out of the jail and told me he got to stay in the presidential suite at the Matagorda County Jail. And I asked one of the deputies, what is he talking about? The VIP, he goes, well, that's the padded cell. That's where they put the mentally ill.
Yeah.
They put them in, but they'll go in there if you tell them it's the Taj Mahal. This is the VIP room for you. And we're going to upgrade you into the padded cell room.
Yeah.
And what does that cost us? And not just Matagorda County, but statewide. Every sheriff I've ever talked to, every sheriff that I've ever talked to, all bring up the fact that part of their problem running a jail is mental health.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Christella talked about it when we were talking to AJ. The sheriff has talked about it. Even the teachers at school talk about it. The principals talk about it. The superintendents talk about it. And yet, AJ, when we brought it up, and he said that something he's been fighting, but as soon as it gets to the top there, they just shoot it down.
Former sheriff, I'm telling you, he has seen it as a sheriff in charge of the jail in Jackson County.
Yep,
he's seen it. He's seen it firsthand.
Yeah, and it's one of his biggest issues. He said that he has, and he's trying very hard to fight it.
That's one of the things I get tickled with when you get an elected official or a politician, I should say, and watch them when they start promising you the earth, moon, sun, and stars. And one of the things when I ran, my opponents were talking about what all they were going to do.
Yeah.
And I said, you ain't going to do anything till you get 75 other people to agree with you.
That's correct.
You ain't going to do nothing, because it takes 76 votes out of 150 state reps. You've got to win the vote.
Yeah.
To get your bill passed.
That's correct.
and you can't do anything.
Anybody
without
that
it.
runs that promises something. I promise you this, or promise you that, or we're gonna run the other way, man. Just run the other way.
I know.
It's how can you promise something you're not even in? You can't.
I hear it a lot.
Yeah, of course, we all hear it.
Right now, there's a gentleman running for the U.S. Senate, and he's just talking about all the things that he did. I did this, and I did this, and I did this, and I'm thinking,
when you got to remind people what you did,
you're one of 100, dude. You're one of 100.
Yeah.
And
nobody ever says me and my team or or a group of people. They always say I.
Yeah.
I.
That's an interesting.
You did that by yourself? Really? You didn't have 62 other people that had to sign papers?
I know.
And that shit? No.
Exactly right.
No.
Be careful when they say that, or I'm I can campaign on it. I can tell you that's what I'm going to work on.
Yep.
But I can't promise you I'm going to do it.
No, can't promise you anything. Until you sit down and dot the I's and cross the T's and figure out where the hell you're at, you can't do that. Anybody that ever says that. I mean,
you got to get in the state of Texas, you got to get the House to pass it. You've got to get the Senate to pass the very same thing you wanted without somebody else.
The cats and dogs got to get involved. You got to get the cat to sign it. You got to give a paw print. You got to get.
Then you got to get the governor, and all of that is all in the middle of politics.
It's a lot of work to get something passed that gets shot down. It takes a lot.
And I do appreciate. I've said this a lot, Jeff, and I do appreciate the Texas Constitution because it is written to kill things, not to pass things.
Mm-hmm.
There is a for every one way to get something passed, there's 100 ways to kill it.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing because there's 8,000 bills filed every session.
Yeah.
And maybe 1,000 get passed.
Yeah.
And about 700 actually get signed by the governor.
Yeah.
So,
yep. Well, that's so the crazies don't come in and say, you know what, we should have a free potato chip day for everybody across the state of Texas. Free potato chips. And guess what? Cigars and a bottle of liquor for everybody. That's I know. Crazy. All right.
Yep.
Well, we could do one more yet.
All right.
Let's see. Well, first of all, I want to talk about the where is it up there? The upcoming Christmas event.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right around the corner.
December the 4th. Yeah. And I heard there's two handsome guys going to be the MC at this parade, man. That's what I heard.
I don't know where they're going to locate.
I don't know. Probably out of the county somewhere.
Maybe.
Because I've seen the people that live in this county.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's coming up. There's a mixer at the museum from 5 to 6.
Yeah.
Then I'll walk across the street and get ready. The parade kicks off from the Bay City Library, if you'll remember. And I can't remember, does it say, is this the 47th?
45th.
45th.
Yep, 45th.
So as you remember, there used to be a chamber event. When I got here 21 years ago, we were in charge of the lighted Christmas parade, and the insurance just got astronomical to where the chamber just couldn't do it. And the city was gracious enough through Parks and Rec to pick up the lighted Christmas parade.
Right.
The Bay City Lions Club is very active, and that's a service project for us. To help stage that. It starts off at the library, heads east on 7th Street, down to 60, then south on 60, and then east on 6th Street, and it ends there around the fire department, police department. So it's different than every other parade that we have, the Rice Festival Parade, the Veterans Parade. Right. It's different. That starts at the service center and goes west.
Right.
This starts at the library and go east. So those of you that want to set up along the parade route, it's between the library and downtown courthouse.
There you go. The other thing you want to talk about is what date is your the chamber, Christmas chamber? 17th?
Market Days?
Market Days, yeah.
Market Days is December the 20th. That's
December the 20th. Right.
We probably, the last time I looked, it looks like we had about 6 booths left.
Yep.
A lot of phone calls today. Had a lady came in and booked hers.
Hey, as long
maybe
As long as I'm
5
there
or
with,
6.
as long as I'm there with my chili. As long as I'm there with my chili.
There
I
you
don't
go. I mean, everybody asks about it.
Look at
And so, but it's going to be a great time. It's indoors. I know that the trade days had their deal along the square this last Saturday. They do not meet in December, or we'll have that one inside the Civic Center. Like I said, 9 to 4 on the 20th. Keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully what you and I worked on at the Rice Festival can come true. I'm looking forward to that. If you'll remember the restaurant establishment we want to get out there.
Yes.
And let's follow up on that. But it's Christmas time, Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody on Thursday.
Yeah, by the way, here, I want to do this. I want to get this back up here. Let's see. Let me remove this. Could you see that?
I did. Absolutely.
Happy Thanksgiving. There you go. Happy Thanksgiving. That's what I did.
Well, Jeff, the rain has moved into Bay City.
Yeah, it's raining.
I hear it now.
Yeah, not here.
Hopefully, we're getting some good rain out of this, and hopefully, no damage for anybody. But everybody that wants as much rain as they can stand, we want them to have it.
Oh yeah,
No damage.
We're not getting anything down here at Jeffrey La Casa Desert. The desert.
Oh, you and Cuero, man, y'all are the driest spots in the state of Texas.
Yeah, it's so dry here. When you walk outside, it cracks. You know what I mean? That's how dry.
Furio and Cuero.
We got a crack in the ground here where I'm calling it the Matagorda Grand Canyon. You should see it. It's wonderful. I'm going to start charging money for people to come and see it.
Come and look. That's right.
Yeah, check it out. All right, guys. Well, we're going to get out of here because Mitch got to eat his dinner, I think.
I got to get going.
And have his glass of Chardonnay, little white wine.
Nah, not until Friday night.
Okay. Wait till Friday night, then. That's fine. All right, gang. On behalf of myself, Jeff Michaels, and the lovely and talented Mitch Thames, thanks for listening and watching Inside Texas. Happy Thanksgiving to each and every one of you, and we will see you next time.